Hey, this is Jen. I hope everybody's good. I'm here with an energy update. And first of all, Happy New Year to everyone. It's been a while since I've been here, and it was on purpose because I needed some time off, some downtime, and some time to rebirth myself, to understand these new energies that we're in, and to be able to come here and talk about what's going on. So let's get into this new energy update, first one of 2021. So like I mentioned, I needed to rebirth myself to come back on here. And a lot of people are actually in that same kind of energy. And if you do resonate with that, just be prepared for the wonderful things that the universe is trying to deliver at your door, literally at your door. It could be so surprising. It's only a matter of believing that it can happen. A few months before the end of the year 2020, I started talking about and saying that I wanted to move away from the twin flame stuff, change my content, move more into the spiritual science kind of content, and that still stands. And if people wonder why, the reason is very simple. I just got fed up of hearing about twin flames and hearing all those informations that didn't quite make sense for me. Mind you, this is my opinion. As I often say, I do not claim to have the absolute truth. I just felt that I needed to walk away from that content because I have been channeling something very different than what was out there. I'm going to get into it in this update. Sorry. I'm going to get into it. I'm going to talk about what I channeled regarding the twin flames. And, when you are against the wave or different compared to the collective, it's important to make sure that the information that you're receiving, the downloads that you're getting makes sense. That it's not your mind making this up, that is not your ego trying to stir you in a different direction. So that's what I did. That's what the downtime was about. I needed to make sense of it all, understand it all. Well, no, that's not true because I still don't understand it all. I still have so much to discover. But I definitely needed some time away to just, meditate, relax, and end the year, start a new one, and be in that new earth kind of energy. I was talking a lot about the new earth before the holidays, and this is where I'm going to go in this update because we are going through as a collective a total revamp of the world. Like, it's a very transformative time on earth. At this point, I think we all know it. If we just look at what's going on in the world, the split in between new earth, old earth is just like major, obvious, so obvious. And it was all planned out this way somehow, except that nobody knew when it was going to come and what year. Nobody knew how it would manifest and show up. And I think that what we're going through right now is just to bring the light on what's working, what's not working, and what we need to do to fix whatever needs to be fixed. So if you do resonate with the new earth energies and you do resonate with being a warrior, call it whatever you want. The indigo, the this, the that. I never cared about labels. And I'm not about to start caring about labels. But if you do resonate with being a warrior, being an architect of this world, meaning that, you tend to go through stuff before people. You're like always ahead of the game, always ahead of the wave, always like going through stuff that other people don't understand. They understand it like weeks or years later, or you talk about things and people are like, what? What are you saying? Only to say the same things 6 months or a year later. That's what I mean by architects of this world. Well, you all are in the front receiving these new energies of the new earth and the new plan, the new directives for the year ahead. For actually the two, what I'm seeing is not even 2, it's 3 to 4 years ahead, which is a phase where we need to rebuild the world the way we want it to be. We need to rebuild whatever has been broken, has been lost, has been stuck, and rebuild it on the right foundation, which is love, always love, like unconditional love. If you feel those energies showing up in your life, be prepared. The universe is trying to deliver like awesome things to you right at your door. Literally, right at your door. It's surprising how quickly and how fast we manifest these days. And of course, in order to move from one level to another, sometimes we need to purge. So a lot of people in the past weeks or in the coming weeks will be called to purge and release stuff for, I'm trying to find the right words. Release stuff to transmute and use alchemy to transform all these things. The good news about that is that it shows up and it goes by much quicker than it did in the past. It's less painful, less dense. It could stem from many different places, like past lives, this lifetime, stuff like that. And most of the time, where we're at right now, people don't even care to know where it's coming from. They just want to release it and move on and just be free. I've noticed that these purging phases tend to show up in opposites. You tend to feel like really, really good, like you get a glimpse of what life will be. Then you're taken back to purge and to release until you can release everything and integrate all the new energies. I do have a blog on my website about healing, about the sequence of healing. I've noticed that in myself for physical healing and emotional healing. I've talked about it with a lot of physical healers, whether it be a massage therapist or a physiotherapist. This is a tendency that we all have, There's a sequence, a specific sequence, usually by brackets of 7 days, where, we get a glimpse of the potential of the future. We're taken back. We go through the sequence of clearing out, and then we integrate. And that usually, takes 7 days. If you just pay attention to how you work and what happens when you go through these things, maybe it's going to be like easier on you next time it shows up in your life. But definitely, there was a lot of purging going on at the end of the year, early January. There is still some purging going on because we need to make space for what's coming in the new earth. We're looking at a very, very different year from what we're used to. Like, there's a lot of differences around, a lot of duality still playing out in the collective. Big clashes, like too much energy on one end and not enough energy on the other, or like too much light, not enough light, or just enough light, just the right amount of light, but someone on the opposite end who's unable to deal with that and accept that light. We're walking towards a life where everything will be heart-based. We've been talking about this for a long time, and more people are into that kind of living now. They're making business relationships and partnerships. They're making friendships. Everything that they're doing is heart-based. They actually cannot be outside of that unconditional love type of energy. It makes them sick instantly. it makes them feel unwell. And it's not about putting up with feeling unwell. It's about going towards what we want, which is heart-based, mutual respect, unconditional love. So a lot of people, because of what's coming in terms of energies, they are feeling lost. They're feeling like, I don't know what's happening to me. I don't know where I need to go. And I just want to remind you that when you feel lost, go back to the basics. Go back to your self-care routine. Go back to the things that you love. Go back to what grounds you. If it's cooking, go cook. If it's playing sports, go play sports. I know it might not be easy because of what's going on with this virus thing, but still, you can find a way to ground yourself to the present moment until the storm has passed. So just go back to the basics and fall in love with everything, because that's the key ingredient. It's love. Fall in love. Even if you don't like doing something and you must do it, fall in love with it. That's how you can transform that energy. That's how you can sustain a heart-based life. There is a new path or a new course showing up for a lot of people, including myself, and it took me some time to realize that, not realize it, but to understand it, to just understand where is this path going, where is it taking me, where do I need to go, what do I need to do. I too was feeling lost not too long ago. During the holidays, there was like a couple of days, of weeks where I was totally lost. I was like, yeah, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing. I need to clear some stuff out, but I don't know what that stuff is. I'm just waiting for it to rise up to my consciousness so that it can come out. And through that, I realized that a lot of people will be taking a new path, or they are already on that new path somehow. And the message on that new path is unseen possibilities. Like, we are at that stage where we are discovering or uncovering these unseen possibilities, as if in the past few years, few months, we were going in one direction, thinking we had it figured out, only to realize that it's not it. It's not that. This is not where we're going. We're going in a different way. And I know it can be rough for some people to come to these, understanding. I know it can be rough or hard to accept. But if you think about it this way, what if it was all planned out this way, but it couldn't be delivered to you because it would have changed your path? It would have changed your destiny somehow. There's a divine timing to everything. And that is one good example where in the new year, 2021, we are facing unseen possibilities. And into these possibilities, there's 3 speeds: the fast track, the medium track, and the slow track. And a lot of people, the ones that resonate with the warriors and the architects of this world, are most probably on the fast track. You probably went through a phase where everything was going so fast in your life that you had a hard time keeping up. Those changes, the purging, the tower moments were showing up one after the other so quickly that you could barely keep your head above water. You could barely see through the next thing. You were just called to be in the flow of that moment, that tunnel, that phase, that circle, that spiral, to get out the other way and realize, okay, I needed to go through all of that to make space to what's coming now in my life. I mean, this is a soul choice. I don't think we can choose this from our physical plane. I'm not sure about it. I'm not sure, to be quite honest. In my case, I know I did not choose this like consciously. I channeled that information. It's through meditation that I realized what was going on with me. And I started laughing about it. I was like, okay, bring the next tower moment, bring the next, purging phase so that I can deal with this face on and move on to the next thing. Now, I said 3 speeds. So some people are on the medium track where things will show up, but with more distance in between. It depends how much you can handle. I mean, a lot of people have been or will be tested on their ability to stay in the present moment, the ability to stay in the flow, the ability to, stay aligned, keep the faith, and keep seeing the positive side of things. And other people chose the slow track, and they will go on about their lives at their own pace. And it's all okay, because we can't control none of that anyway. But if you look at it this way, that big clash I was talking about a few minutes ago, fast track, slow track. So if you resonate with being on the fast track and you meet someone on the slow track, imagine how you're going to feel. Most probably annoyed by that person's energy. Most probably there's a clash between me and that person. Like, we don't resonate at all. We don't share the same vibe at all. And that's just okay. It's okay. Fall in love with it and move on. So like I said, some people have already made that choice of, which track to take, what speed to take. Their soul did, at least. And others are set to walk into this starting in Q2 of this year. So after March, so somewhere in April. I have not checked what's going on with the astrology in April. But they're set to make that choice starting in April for the months coming after. And if we look at the twin flames, now the content that I'm about to say, what I'm about to say may cause some frustration in some people. It may offend some people. But please know that this is not my intention. It's information and knowledge that I channeled, and I took some time to understand it, to integrate it, to validate it before saying it out loud on this channel. What I channeled, and I had already started talking about that a few months before the end of 2020. I was saying that I wanted to move away from that content. I was saying that I wanted to go towards the spiritual science. At that time, the only thing I was saying is I'm just, fed up of all this information overload on Twin Flame. People are using that term in distorted ways to either, take advantage of other people or just in distorted ways. And it wasn't my mission to, put down anyone it wasn't my mission to destroy that information. What I do have now as far as information on Twin Flame is that we have more than one Twin Flame. We have many Twin Flames. The old story of the Twin Flames as we know it is no longer relevant. Because we're all called to operate from the heart. Therefore, romantic relationships are called to change, especially during this pandemic where, divorces are on the rise. A lot of people are realizing that their partner is not the one that they want to stay with for the rest of their lives. They realize that they're called somewhere else. They realize that they're attracted to go somewhere else or to someone else. And with these new energies on earth, operating from the heart is like the new way of living. But a lot of people have been living this way for quite some time. But now the majority is living this way, or about to, or starting to live like that, starting to understand more what it means. They're starting to understand what it means to get out of your mind, get out of your ego, and, listen to your soul, be aligned to your higher self, be love, share love, embody unconditional love. Therefore, the twin flame story, as we know it, is not relevant at this point. There's some form of break, like dissolvement, that we've been through. I've been seeing this in a lot of people that had met their twin, that had gone through the different stages, been in separation for quite some time, only to realize that the twin is just not coming back. The twin took their free will to do something else. And then I started questioning myself, thinking, what if it's not free will? And what if it was all planned out this way? For the collective to awaken to the twin flame energy, and, for these twin flames to prepare to the others for what's coming. And then it started to make sense, to me anyway. Maybe it's going to make sense to you, maybe it won't, and it's all fine. And then I started channeling that information on how we have many twin flames. We do. I have to admit that I was not resonating with that if we go back a few years before I started this channel. It's always been in the back of my mind, knowing that I would understand it later on. Through my own experience in my life with, everyday living, the information finally came up. I was able to channel it, understand it, integrate it, and experience it. So here I am talking about this. And like I said, my intentions are not to offend anyone or make anyone frustrated in any way. This is just one part of what's out there. Nobody knows the extent of our lives, the universe, and all the information that is available out there. This is just one teeny tiny part. It's just that before, it seemed like everyone was getting the same information about twin flames. Sometimes, I did not resonate with some people. Sometimes I did. And now I'm looking at some channels and I'm like, no, I don't resonate with what you're talking about. So there must be different waves of twin flames, which is totally possible. That I don't know yet. But what I do know is that I channeled how we have many different twin flames. How many? I don't know. I think it must be different for everyone. What I do know is that when souls are in the field, in paradise, in heaven, in the spiritual plane, and they're just hanging out in the field, when two souls are meant to come together, they attract one another. And it does look like a matrix, like there's a lot, like millions of souls out there, just all there, hanging out. So they attract one another and they meet. They create the third energy, and then they split. And this is where I don't have the information because I'm assuming that it's different for everyone, but they split in many different pieces. And then those pieces can choose to stay in the matrix or in the field, or they can choose to come down to earth. to choose a body and to embody that energy and these codes. So, in one lifetime, it is possible to meet more than one twin flame. I mean, consider yourself lucky if you do, because not everyone will get to do that. It all depends on which path you take, the kind of work you do, and your own desires. I mean, some people are not interested at all. And they meet physically and they do what they need to do. And at one point, the story can be over so that another twin flame can come into someone's life. So that's what happened to a lot of people in the past year, few months. You know, a lot of people are like, I don't resonate with the twin flame stuff anymore. I don't feel the connection the same way. I do not feel that person the same way. That's what happened. I mean, that chapter was done. It was a twin flame. They came, they did their work, they did what they needed to do, and then they left to do something else, to be a twin flame to another one. And Magenta Pixie has a video on that. If you go on her channel, she has a few videos on twin flames. And in one of her videos, she does mention you can be a twin flame to another. It's an energy, and it is an energy. So I believe a lot of people had the concept maybe like distorted or wrong, and now we're seeing the effects of that, because a lot of people are meeting their new divine partner, their new twin flame, and we get to choose the best partner for us. You know, we get to choose the life we want, the heart-based life that we want. So that's what I wanted to say today. That's all. That's what I wanted to say. I mean, I'm going to probably keep moving away from the twin flame stuff, unless I get like new information, unless I'm guided to talk about it, unless I'm asked to talk about it. In this specific case, I was asked to put this out there. I was just not ready when I first channeled it. I needed to understand it. I needed to do some living and experimenting before coming on here to talk about it. So I did, and I'm happy I did. So that's it for now. Thank you for being here. You can follow me on social media at IndigoGirl555 on Instagram, IndigoGirl on Facebook. You can use my email to reach out at IndigoGirl555 at gmail.com. And until the next time, be well.